Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor, and it is Wednesday. Yes, already Wednesday. Wow, the week has been going fast. Um, well, the early market rally faded today as oil prices went up, and the Treasury yields are pulling back a little bit. Kind of expected, but definitely it's still a fragile market out there. Oil stocks are looking pretty good in terms of how they're reacting. So it's kind of a stock pickers market. And hopefully, we're here to help possibly pick some good stocks. All of the major indexes were off, as you can see. The S&P was down about 1.23%. Dow was down 1.29%. Nasdaq down 1.3%, and the volume was down as well. So yeah, I mean we're paying for the good days that we had just previously. Interesting article in the Investor Business Daily. Just want to point out, and that is according to Wall Street analysts. Many Wall Street analysts are saying that Apple is going to have a monster year this next year. Currently, the iPhone 13 sales are doing very, very well. Interestingly enough, and I just want to point this out to everyone, right now, Apple is firmly in the buy zone. So if you're interested, I am probably going to be putting some Apple to work here. It's right above a buy point. There's a 593 593 cent buy point. Also, I want to point out that Tesla moved above that very key 1,000 mark. So that is definitely looking good in terms of that. Not everything else is looking as good though. But hey, you got to take what you can. You got to take what you can in this world. Here's some of the stocks that I sold today. I was a seller of I was a seller of Occidental Petroleum today, and then oil did well today. But I was a seller. I took some profits in several of my accounts. But hey, it definitely is. It's looking good. I did replace Oxy with OVV. Didn't quite do as well on there, but let's take a look at the live chart for Oxy here and take a look very quick. There we go, Occidental Petroleum. And so yeah, so basically this is Oxy. I did, I bought and I added a position and then I did some selling today. Sold basically at 61.27. Kind of glad I did because it looks like it's pulling back in after hours to 59.67. So, I got kind of confused on the date of earnings. I typically don't like to hold into earnings if I'm not up at least if I'm not up at least 10%. So, that definitely was not the case with Occidental. Right about 5% in a little over a week, so that's pretty darn good. And hey, I'll be back in. Here is one that I did replace it with. This is called OVV. This is also a very strong stock. It's of course in the oil area as well. Oils are just doing great. I also have Hess, by the way. I haven't sold Hess yet, but this one is not only was it up 2.08, but it's up in the after hours. OVV. I don't know if we can still buy that one. I don't know if it's in the buy zone. I was buying it, I think, almost a little extended here. Let's take a look, kind of see where we're at. Yeah, okay. Well, we're up pretty strongly in the after hours. Very interesting stock, of course, OVV. And it's interesting because uh, you know, these uh, oil companies just keep on keeping on. I mean, it's really interesting. We're seeing some really nice action in here. This was also, one of the top. This is a color blue dot on it today. Very strong, very strong action on it. I didn't, probably could have gotten it at a little bit better price. I was bought in at 52.69. It's at 52.74 right now. I do think though that very likely to go and move strongly after hours. So we'll see. We'll see kind of what's up with that. But definitely like the stock. OVV, Oventive, definitely one that you might want to take a look at. It's not truly in a buy zone. The buy zone, basically on a cup uh, basis, was at 42.65. So it's a little bit up in terms of its price. So not quite not quite as good not as quite as good a look as we'd like to see it. Anyways, so let's go on and get some of the other stocks in here. Let's see. Just want to show you the small portfolio, everybody. This is a little thing that we keep for everyone, and it's kind of just a model portfolio, kind of showing how we're trading. Now, we did enter. We did in the last few days we've been buying. We bought St. Joe Company today. It's off. And AMD is down a little bit as well. But Hess is doing well. That's of course the other book I'm going to talk to you about. Arista Networks, ANET, that seems to be holding up fairly well. Also, we have Berkshire in there, Berkshire Hathaway. We've had it for about 20 days, not a long time. And then we did buy some more of Quanta Services. We've had that in another account. Basically, it's flat. It's an oil service company, PWR. I think let's take a look at the buy point on PWR just to check that out. PWR is basically, yeah, here we go. It's also moved up very nicely, but again, it's right and it's right in the buy zone. Just wanted to point that out to everyone here. This is Quanta Services. We did buy a full position for the account, and it's right in the buy zone right now, right above a consolidation base. The consolidation being at 124.69. So this is an interesting one. You might want to check it out. I think it's still actionable. You can definitely buy this one. It's got a 100% checklist. This is one of the things I really like to buy a stock when it has such a strong checklist like this. 100% checklist in this one. And on the pattern recognition here, we're basically about 4% above that pivot. So this one is looking fairly good in terms of the stock to buy. And of course, that's what we did today. We bought, we definitely bought into it. All right. Let's see. What else do we have before? Just going to show you everything that I'm currently in. Is again, OVV was the one that I really wanted to talk about because that's the one that we did by the way. It was up today. Basically, a pretty overall bad day. The only two stocks that I had that were up today at the end of the day were Hess, of course, that's an oil stock, and OVV, that's another oil stock. So the oils again, you really have to. I think you really have to have exposure to the oil sector right now because that's where the action is. I mean, that's where the action is. I did also have an option play that was on UNH, which is Iron Condor. We're down about $57 on that one. Basically, the situation there is as the price of UNH moderates a little bit, we should be back into that green zone. I'm going to be holding it hopefully for profit here. When we originally opened the Iron Condor, we received a $368 credit. And right now, if we were to close it would cost us $57 if we did close it right now. But I plan on holding it, and hopefully, if it closes below, that's the key. If it closes, if it closes below 520, then we're probably going to be in the money on that to keep the entire $368. That's kind of how some of those option plays work. I'm really I closed before the market changed. We did close a lot of our options, and move into more bullish stance on some of our trades. We do have also for everybody out there a very nice March 2022 ready list. This is kind of where I'm getting a lot of my ideas, and I want to share it with you. Very easy to get this ready list, no problem. Just go to https://bit.ly/GTF0099. Okay, well, let's get into your questions because that's the whole reason for the show. I'm going to go first here to TikTok and see what we can have. Okay, is Tesla, and this is so what I think everyone is interested in, is Tesla, TSLA, is it going up tomorrow? Well, you know what? I certainly think that it probably is going to test a little bit here and pull back. The only reason I'm saying that, not because I'm anti Tesla, it's because it's gone up 6 days in a row. And I don't know if that's going to be the happening thing. As you can see, in the after hours, it did close just right below that 1,000 mark. And that's kind of what I'm seeing to see if it can hold that. It closed at 999.11. Wow, that's pretty darn close. That's 89 cents from $1,000 a share. Pulled back a little bit, and then in the after hours, pulled back at about another little $4.86 to 994.25. So I do think that it's probably going to get some resistance at the 1,000 rate. Let's see if it's going to pull back, and then if it does, and it can hold over 1,000, that's the real key here. If it can hold over 1,000, if it does hold that, that's where I think we want to buy. So, what we need to do probably right now for Tesla is I just think we have to just watch list it for now. You know, but definitely look at getting in this. Uh, and the reason I'm looking to watch this is I just want to see a convincing close over that $1,000 level. That's really what I'm looking for. Is close over that $1,000 level. So that should be where I think we would start trying to build a position. And it is a great company. All right, question. OVV price for tomorrow next week. Well, if I knew exactly all of this, wow, I would be much smarter than I pretend to be. But I do think OVV, and I'm going to pull the chart up here again because I do think that we have, we're in the buy zone right now for OVV. Uh, it's looking like it is going to be producing a pretty good result. We just went through the buy zone. The buy zone is at 50.87, $50.87. We're at 52.74. The thing is, where do I think it's going? Well, the easiest way I think to find that out would be to go to the weekly chart and kind of look at the slope of the line here that we're sort of started trying to put together. That's kind of the slope that I'm seeing. That's sort of what I'm seeing. I think there's going to be a pullback tomorrow, probably down to about the 21-day line. So really kind of we're kind of sort of in this we're sort of in this channel here, as you can see, drawing the channel on the chart. Hopefully you can see that. And I do think this is gonna top and it's gonna come back. But I do see potentially 60 by through the end of April. I think we're going to see at least 60 through the end of April. Maybe at the beginning of April, that would be great. Almost we're getting close to we're in the final week of March. So I do think that probably in about 2 weeks, I think we're going to be probably about 60. I do think we're going to have a pullback, probably down to about 50, and then hopefully it's onward and upward from there. Looking at the daily chart, that's kind of what I'm seeing. Here. I do have a fairly aggressive stop loss on the position that I had at 49, and maybe readjusting that. But I do think that we're going to see it move probably in this buy zone for a little bit of time, down to about 50 and up to maybe about 53.50 or so. So that's kind of where I see OVV going, at least for the next few days. But it's all a guess, really. This is based on the chart. I do see it getting more action. There's been a fair amount of buying, but the buying is tapering down. That means, even though the price is going higher, fewer people are willing to sell. So that's a very interesting sign there. So I do think that we may be going higher. I just want to kind of look at the weekly, look at some of the fundamentals for the stock. It's basically It basically has a relative strength of 98, which is very, very strong. We did go through earnings, I believe, today, didn't we? We did, yeah. We went through earnings, and it does look, we don't have them yet. Trying to see, but it does look like their profits were up 79%. So it's pretty strong. This was probably, a pretty good breakout day for them. Let me just see if I can see the news for OVV, if there's any news on it. But it does, it's reacting very, very well. So let's see if we can find any news from on OVV. On OVV. This will show it. There we go. So yeah, oil stocks reverse. Wide sell off. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, well, so I'm just looking for the OVV thing here. Let's go over. Let's go over and kind of look at this article. We can share out this article here. Let's see if we can bring that in. Yeah. Oops. There we go. Kind of looking at it now. Well, anyways, I didn't wasn't able to technically handle that, but basically there was a little bit of sell off in terms of some of the oil stocks. But I do think we're just continuing to see strength in this area, and so the OVB has a very strong checklist, and it seems to be doing very well. So that's kind of that's kind of the long and the short. But let's see if we can get that up. Oh, there we go. Okay. So basically, yeah. I mean, they did move lower. Look through that really, see if there's anything really interesting there. Uh, okay. So yeah, maybe. Okay. Hopefully I'm not muted here. Let me see if that's not muted. Okay. I'm good. I just have to check. I have to check sometimes on this because it it when I get it wrong, it's really painful when I get it wrong. Okay, let's go to back to G tier. Thank you. AMC. Let's see. ACMR. ACMR. Let's take a look. Yeah, ACMR. Okay. Oh, semiconductors. Okay. Back. I like the semiconductor space. I just haven't been able to buy it because everything is below everything has been below the everything's been below the 200-day line. That's been my real hang up. But I have started getting much more aggressive in terms of in terms of semiconductor area. I think this is the better areas right now. It's in tech. There's not that many good areas in tech. Mostly it's a resource driven kind of market right now. But with tech, there are some definitely that I do like. This one I would probably say, it looks like it came through earnings very very well, and it's up and after hours. But boy, you know what? It's below the 200-day line. I just don't like seeing it. I'm looking at the weekly chart here, and to me, yeah, I just don't think you could buy this. It's below the 200-day moving average. I want to see some more strength. I really, really want to see some. I really want to see some more strength on this before I would buy it. So, for ACM, it is below the 200-day moving average, and I know that's kind of that's very very important to me. Is that 200-day moving average, and that's this black line right here. The reason it's so important is because it shows the slope of this shows that as it points down, that means money is moving out of the stock. Even though the stock has bounced up and it's doing good, and money is moving out of that stock. So I don't think you really can be in this one. Has a decent checklist at 67, but I think you really have to pass on ACN research. I really think you got to pass on it, just because it doesn't look, it just doesn't look that good. It doesn't look that good. All right, let's take a look from Matt. ARL. Okay. ARLP. That should give us. All right. That's one of the problems. Okay, utilities. Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is a safety play stock. It's in the buy zone. I like the fact that it's in the buy zone. And it's in the energy coal area. So, wow, I haven't really bought that many coal stocks. But based on what I'm seeing here, this is looking pretty good. So, there's not many coal plays, but this is a good this is a good coal play. And the funny thing is, the more they try, the more the inflation, the more that quote unquote green energy is pushed, the more coal becomes important. Why? Because unfortunately, the backup to all of our entire energy grid practically in this country is coal power plants. Also, with the prices of with things going on in Ukraine and Russia, a lot of the steel is coming off the market, and so this metallurgical uh, coal, I don't know if I pronounced that right, is becoming in very high demand, and so I definitely like this as a play. I mean, this is the number one area currently in the market. It's got a relative strength of 99, and it's kind of checking all the boxes for me. I'm not familiar with the company. I'll be honest with you. I have not done a lot in the coal area, but boy, there's a lot of investment in this area, and it is right in the buy zone. So this is absolutely viable. It's got an 89% checklist. I kind of like that. I mean, I kind of like that. It's right now. It's 2% above the pivot. So this one might make a smart buy. I mean, if you want to get some exposure in the number one area, boy, this is looking good. So I have to say, this is viable. This is based on what I'm seeing here. And again, I don't know a lot about the coal area, but you know, this stock is viable. Now, if you are playing, if you are playing in the resource stocks, here's the thing: you got to be quick on the trigger, um, because they can move against you. But this is not a totally expensive stock. I mean, it's a $13, $15 stock, and it's in the number one area. So, boy, I tell you what, I really like this one, Matt. Well, I think you got a winner here. I want to kind of go out and see if I can see what the history of this thing is. I'm going to go all the way out kind of 20,000 feet here. This is the monthly chart that I'm showing. It's been as high back in 2013. That's also when we had some inflation. It's been as high as 40. Wow, that's amazing. It's 15 right now, and it looks like there's some resistance right here based on the historical at about 20. So, I mean, I think this is good for, wow, I think this is good for maybe a 20, 25% move. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm going to put this one down in my book, because I like what I see here. I like what I see here. So, Alliance Resource Partners Limited Partnership, ARLP. I mean, this could easily move up 20%. Absolutely easily move up 20% based on based on this. So I have to say, boy, this is definitely viable. And thank you very very much for that. That's a really good that's a good comment. That's a good comment. Really like it. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, in this kind of market, we're going to see all kinds of interesting things that we normally wouldn't see Resource stocks are at the top of the list in terms of that. Let's look at TMF. Another symbol I am not that familiar with. I haven't traded it, but I want to take a look and see kind of where it's at. What's the daily chart here? See if we can pull that up for everyone. This one, wow. Okay, so this is the Treasury bulls. Boy, you know what? I think you got to be careful with this one, only because it's not because of the Treasuries, but I just don't like this chart. I want to see it reverse. It's got the death cross on it. I just don't like this one, so I would have to pass on this one on TMP. So I would just have to pass on this stock. I just don't think it's doing that. I just don't think it's doing that good. I have to say this is not really a viable stock. So I would pass on this one. I think that's really kind of what you got to do here because it's got the death cross. It's just not looking good, and so don't want to give you any false hopes there that one would work. So wow. Not what I definitely like to see. Let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia had a really nice move yesterday, and I did not buy it. I bought AMD instead that went down. So yeah, sometimes you get them wrong, and but it looks like Nvidia is selling off a tad. Looks like it's selling off a tad there. It's still above 250, so that's good. This is the reversal line that I have drawn in here where it's still got a fair amount of overhead supply. That's the problem, definitely. As you can see, and what do I mean by overhead supply? Well, when a stock moves up very quickly and then tops and then bases, and it comes down to bases, and that's what this is doing. There's a lot of people that are trapped up here in overhead line. This is where the overhead supply is. So when the stock starts to make a move, then these people that bought back here, been holding, they're like, oh, getting out, and they get out and they sell. Of course, that creates a lot of pressure on the shares. So really, there's a ceiling right about 289 here. We went up to that a little bit beyond that, and we pulled back. We'll probably pull up tomorrow, but there's definitely some resistance right about here. So boy, great stock, really like it, but I think that you got to look at you got to look at possibly if you're down more than 7%, you got to sell. But I'm trying to look for another entry point back into Nvidia. I really like the stock. Same kind of situation here that we had with AMD, and I did buy AMD, so I got to eat my own dog food here. AMD has a little bit of an issue with the 200-day line. As I say, I don't like to buy below the 200 line, so I waited until it peaked above it, and of course it went back down. Kind of like Texas Honeyfield, the the groundhog, groundhog day. We have that. This is moving up, and definitely has resistance there. So the semis are not as easy to play, unfortunately. The one I've been most successful on as of late has been Alpha Omega Semiconductor, AOSL. That's here. I'll show you that one. That one has done okay, but it went all the way up and then boom, it went all the way down. So I thought I was so smart. I added to the position here. Fortunately, I did buy below the pivot, but it got whacked today. Why I don't know. It's up after hours, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Fortunately, I didn't buy. I didn't buy a full position. I just added an ad. And my ad was small. That's part of the reason why when you're moving into a stock, the best way to go is half position and then quarter. That's a good way to kind of wade into the stock. But it's down a little bit. But this one is probably in terms of the semis looking the best. But here's the problem with the semiconductors: 102 out of 197. I've been trying to get a jump on it, hoping that the sector will show some strength. But really where the strength is in the market right now is in the resource stocks, again and again and again. It's just that's kind of been that's kind of been the story all the way around. That's kind of been the story. ENPH, are the buyers getting tired? That's kind of what happens is that's when usually it bottoms, when the buyers are, the sellers are worn out. But let's look at ENPH and see if we have anything there in phase. Energy, of course, the solars are doing well today. Um, I don't know. I don't know. This is in-home energy. This is solar. This is one of the better, 96 out of 197. So I haven't really been that active in the solar area. I don't know. Here's the thing about solar that I don't like. Um, you know, it's really not that profitable. So it depends heavily on government subsidies, both solar and wind do. And so if the subsidies aren't there, man, it just doesn't work, and that's a problem. So I don't know. I'm really not all that interested in the area right now. It's 96 out of 197. I want to be in an area that's doing much better in terms of the overall market. And I kind of want to let's take a look at the market just to see sort of if there is such a thing, if there is such a thing in this market, and that basically, yeah, let's get that up. Let's go to the 197 groups. I'm going to sort them by relative strength. There we go. Okay, so now let's see. Those are indexes, sorry. All the wrong information here. Okay. This is the group strength, and this is really I really like this feature of MarketSwift, by the way. And I'm not selling for I'm not selling for IBD, but I do like this feature that we can look at all of the different groups and see where the strength is in the market. Currently, the strongest one is the coal area, and I'm not that familiar with it, but Matt's suggestion of ARLP is very, very good. The international EMPs are also very strong. I did buy OVV in there, and I do have Hess in there. Again, it's just this. If you look at the list, we're just dominated by the oil and gas, and then there are some steel producers coming in there, and of course there's the ship transportation. But basically, if you look at the top 20 areas right now in the market, we're seeing steel specialty alloys and oil and gas. I mean, that's really pretty much it. Now, there is a company that I think we could possibly look at. Let's see if it gives me back my. There we go. Okay, we should be back now. Um, the area that I really like is this alloy steel area. Not that familiar with it, but one of the ones, Timken Steel. This is another one you might want to look at. I think that this is maybe an historic period for this company. It's extended right now, but I think it's really good at 23.99. And if we have what I think we're going to have, I'm hoping we're going to have an end to the war here pretty quickly. But if we don't, this company will do very, very well. And I actually I'm rooting for the American companies. Um, so this one you might want to put this on your watch list. It's called Timken Steel, based in Ohio, TMST. And what's interesting about this one is they make alloys that are very, very, very. Their alloy steel is very, very much in demand right now, and Timken Steel, this one you might want to take a look at as well. All right. Well, probably towards the end here. Let's see. Let's get. Oh, let's look at AMC. Oh, thanks, Antonio. AMC. I'm not sure that with the inflation coming and movie tickets costing almost $20. I just don't know. I don't know if AMC can make it. I certainly hope they could, but it doesn't look good. Their stock doesn't look good. I would buy. I would think about buying Timken Steel here rather than something like AMC. I don't. It just doesn't look good to me. There's a death cross on it, so I just don't think you can buy AMC. I just there's a death cross on it, so I don't think it's really a doable good thing. Well, I have gone through almost all the questions here. Oh, we look at TMS. Okay. Oh, explain buy points. Very good. Thank you very, very much for that. What in heck is a buy point? Why am I talking about these things called buy points? Well, basically, and let's go to a stock that let's see that probably is very indicative. It shows this very, very well. I'm going to go here to let's look at the international E&Ps, and this is I'm just going to pick a stock here and give you kind of a rundown of what a buy point is. All right. Basically, the way a stock trades, and they've looked at this for many, many years, is that what'll happen is a stock goes kind of through a cycle. It typically stocks go up only about 20% of the time, and the rest of the time they're kind of resting. Now, here's how it works with the what they call buy points. As you can see, the stock will come up and then it will hit a high, and then it'll retreat and it'll come back. This is called a base. And with this stock here, OVV, it's gone through what they call an ascending base. So what'll happen is it comes up to this high, and then it'll kind of come back, and then it'll form this base, and then when it reaches above that, that's what they call the buy point. The buy point is when there's resistance. So it's kind of like imagine an elevator where we're getting on, we're getting on, and then we get up to a certain floor, and then the elevator just tries to go higher, and then when it breaks through, it goes higher. So it tried once here, and then it kind of pushed back, and then it came up there a little bit, and then once it kind of got through this buy area, and then it came back up again, and again it came up to this buy point. Now, the reason I knew to buy OVV was because it had come through this this level of resistance. Now, it just so happens that I can show you here on this chart basically where the resistances are, and that's very, very important because what we're looking for is a stock coming through these buy points. The most current buy point right now on OVV on what they call an ascending base is basically at $50.07. Now currently it's at 52. You'll notice that it's come through that. So the buy zone is the buy point, which is this 50.87 plus 5%. We want to buy it from basically here to about here. And why do we want to do that? Because as it pushes through this level of resistance, then it comes into a new kind of area where it can move. So it'll push through the buy point, and then once it's in the buy zone, which is the buy point plus 5%, that's where we can potentially look at getting into the position. Now, with the way the market has been trading in general, what we're trying to do is we're trying to buy them right below when they break through that buy point, and that's typically about 5% below, or then buy basically a third at 5% below, another third approximately at the buy point, and another third as it moves into the top zone. I'll show you a stock that was very indicative of this this move. Yesterday, a few days ago, I bought a stock called Alpha Omega Semiconductor, AOSL. That's the symbol for Alpha Omega Semiconductor. Now, the way this traded is, and you can see my notes here, as it it went up initially to the 64, and then that sort of was what they call the pivot. That's where it met resistance and it was turned back, and then it came all the way down, and then it formed this what they call base. And then as it came up through the base, as it was making its move on the buy point, that's where I started buying it. So I bought it here, and then as it moves through the buy point, I bought it again. Now I should have gotten 3 buys in there. Now, interestingly enough, I bought it up here, but you'll notice at about 64, this was an old higher high. You notice how it was turned back and it pulled back today. So it probably will stay between here, the pivot, right about 60, and then hopefully it can move above about there. And if it can, then it's probably going to go higher. But right now, it's sort of stuck in that area. So what a buy point is it's kind of giving you this opportunity to buy the stock. We want to see it go power up through the buy point, and then at the buy point, we probably want to be buying, and if it can hold above there, and then it continue on up. So what buy points are? Those are levels of resistance that we have to break through. That's an extremely good question. By the way, if you're interested in the theory of buy points and pivots, you should just Google this and for a more in-depth explanation. I'm going to try to put up a little video on what buy points are and why they're so important. So I really, really appreciate that very, very much, Roger, and I hope you'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be talking a little bit more about stocks that I'm buying, potentially ones that you might be able to get in on as well. And thanks, Joe. Thanks for that comment. I really, really appreciate that. Very, 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 very nice when people say that. I'll be back tomorrow. And by the way, what we can do if you want to get in on the free action trade alerts, super easy to do. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and first and last name and an email address, and you'll be on the action trade alerts. We also do have a Discord room, which we have in the morning, and that basically shows you live how I'm trading. It is a paid service, but it's not very expensive. About $30 a month. Quit anytime you want, but a lot of people have been very successful. We're now coming into a market uptrend. We've been in a downtrend pretty much since October of last year, believe it or not, and I think we're now starting to come into an uptrend. So now is a very, very good time to start looking at, to start be looking at kind of moving back into the market. I was almost out of the market. I mean, I had only about 20% exposure just a little over a week ago, and I've been coming into the market, and I now have about a 70% I'm about in the market about 70%. I still have some cash to deploy, and that's what I'm looking to do. But we do talk about that every day on the Discord room. That's also available. If you want to find out more about that, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor. Well, thanks, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm on at 5 Central. So if you want to take a watch, that's a good time. And I will be back tomorrow. Happy. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention, please, and I know everybody asked for this, and it does help. Please smash that like button. It helps us get out to a lot of people. And by smashing that like button, we get seen by a lot of people. So I'll be back tomorrow at 5. Happy trading, everybody.